Edition of Motor Trend Television. I'm John Mathias. Today's show is all about American-bred muscle. First, we'll match the new Dodge Viper against the Corvette ZO6, and our editors are taking sides. After that, 40 years of Carroll Shelby's legendary Cobras. It's all coming up next on Motor Trend Television. The Dodge Viper and the Chevrolet Corvette ZO6 are in a class by themselves. They're the only mass-produced, two-seat, all-American muscle cars. So in any discussion of which one is better, fans of each are likely to have strong opinions, not unlike our Motor Trend editors, Matt Stone and Jack Keebler. This showdown isn't about fuel economy or which car has the better cup holder. It's about what the Viper and the Corvette ZO6 can do on the road and on the track. As it turns out, our Motor Trend editors have very different opinions. Matt Stone likes the Viper.
I think the Viper is the car for the person who really values ultimate maximum performance above all else. And you've got a torque curve, over 500 horsepower, obviously a killer look, and very high handling and braking limits.
But Jack Keebler is a big fan of the ultimate Corvette.
The ZO6 is an incredibly friendly car. This is a car that can be driven very close to its maximum speed by even somebody that hasn't been racing for years. I think particularly given the vehicle's stability control system, it gives you a safety net, electronic safety net if you will. It'll keep you safe.
But it may come down to not who talks the talk, but who walks the walk.
All right, Keebler, for pinks, baby. Let's go.
Let's do it, buddy.
Let's size up the contenders. The new Viper RT10 sports a fresh look, a convertible soft top, and a V10 making an awesome 500 horsepower. That much punch comes at a fairly high sticker. The Viper's base price is just a few dollars shy of $80,000. The ZO6 is Chevrolet's highest performance Corvette. It's an outstanding blend of sophisticated underpinnings in a coupe-only style, and its V8 now boasts 405 horsepower. With a base price just over $50,000, it's considerably less expensive than the Viper. Although the Viper is a roadster and the ZO6 is a hardtop coupe, from a distance these big American-style sports cars seem closely related. But from behind the wheel, they're very different in terms of driving demeanor, refinement, cabin comfort, and styling. The ZO6 is generally a friendlier car to drive. That impression begins with its steering, handling, and ride. It has a somewhat slower steering ratio, more steering boost, and more suspension compliance than the Viper, making it feel much calmer. But it's far from numb. The steering's precise and there's solid road grip feedback. The Viper, on the other hand, forcefully engages the driver. Its harsh and sometimes noisy ride focuses your attention on dodging potholes and pavement joints. But while its predecessor, the RT10, had a mean reputation for making even good drivers look unskilled, the new model seems much more forgiving. In fact, overall, the new Viper is a more sophisticated piece than the first-generation car.
The old one was really rough around the edges in a lot of ways. This one is still definitely all about its engine and chassis, but it does have a lot nicer finish and some higher quality materials. Overall, I'd say it's a better built car.
If there's one thing car guys can be fanatic about, it's the sound of their wheels. Jack Keebler thinks the ZO6 sounds better.
I'm a small block fan. I love the way they sound. I always have. And this car has a titanium exhaust system, which really gives this motor some snap when you rev it. The Viper sounds better than it did. Viper used to sound like a great big Hoover vacuum cleaner. Let me start this up for you. You tell me. That gets it done.
Naturally, Matt disagrees.
One of the most controversial aspects of the Viper has been the sound of its 10-cylinder engine. Now, with the new side pipes also come a crossover network that actually makes it sound a whole lot better and deeper and richer than did the last generation car. Want to hear it? Not bad, huh?
As for styling, the Corvette's exterior, although basically 6 years old, remains tasteful and recognizable, and it's still exciting. On the other hand, the new Viper's bulges and edges have been toned down a bit, and a few of its fans may miss the raw and outrageous look of the past models. But it is a convertible. For some, that's a major plus. The weakest element of both cars is their interiors. For Viper engineers, overall cabin comfort wasn't a priority. It's noisy, engine heat boils up from below, and there's not a lot of elbow room. But the firm, supportive seats boast lots of side bolstering for hard cornering work. By comparison, the Vette's interior is quiet, cool, and roomy for two. However, the switchgear, molded dash, and console plastics still don't measure up to other cars in this price range. But what about real-world performance numbers? We'll put these brutes to the test when we come back. Stay tuned.
Motor Trend Television is brought to you by K&N Performance Filters and by Mothers, Polishes, Waxes, and Cleaners, available at quality retailers everywhere, and by Access Cover, the ultimate roll-up tonneau cover. For more information on the all-season Access Cover, visit accesscover.com.
The Viper SRT10 and the Corvette ZO6 both boast big numbers under the hood, so no head-to-head competition is complete without seeing what they'll do at the track. The original hot rods and muscle cars were good in a straight line, and that was about it. These modern brutes corner and stop as good as they go, but standing start acceleration is still what settles most bets. Even with a considerable difference in engine displacement, here we found surprisingly close performance. The Viper reached 60 in a quick 4.12 seconds, but even with its 95 horsepower and 2 extra cylinders edge over the Corvette, the Snake edged out the ZO6 by less than half a second. Our Jack Keebler wasn't surprised by these numbers.
I think if these vehicles are involved in, a race, door handle to door handle, it's going to come down very much to driver skill. The better driver is going to win the race, not necessarily one car or the other.
The reason the test numbers are so close, the Viper has over 250 extra pounds to push around. Quarter-mile times were both under 13 seconds, with the Viper clocking the distance in 12.37 and the ZO6 right behind at 12.85. Despite the small difference in track times, Matt Stone still prefers the Viper.
It's got unbelievable punch, even more so than the old one.
Braking was a virtual tie, with only 4 feet of stopping distance separating the two muscle cars. The differences were consistent on the slalom course, where the Viper beat the ZO6, but again by the thin margin of just half a mile an hour. So, who's the winner of this muscle car face-off? Both have their strengths. The Viper is wilder, a little faster, and fewer will be available. But the ZO6 is seriously fast too, and it's $30,000 cheaper. You decide for yourself. Matt and Jack are still discussing it.
At the end of the day, the Viper is a rude, crude, and lewd dude. I mean, it's definitely a weekend toy. This car would sort of wear you out if you tried to drive it every day. But it's a wonderful weekend ride.
If somebody was asking me, do you want to go showroom stock racing? What kind of vehicle would you like to drive? I think the car at the top of my list would be the ZO6.
Dodge will build about 2,000 Vipers next year, and Chevrolet about 10,000 ZO6s. So whichever you choose, you're likely to have the only one on your block. We hope you've enjoyed this all-American muscle edition of Motor Trend Television. For more about some of what you've seen today, get the new issue of Motor Trend magazine on newsstands now. I'm John Mathias, and for all of us at Motor Trend, thanks for watching. Join us for the next Motor Trend Television.